Call the meeting to order. Rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now if we could just take a moment of silence. Okay, next one, you can call. Supervisor Starling, present. Keith Gray,
Present.
Supervisor Merson,
Present.
Trustee Melody. I think you guys all supervisors. Trustee Melody. Trustee Seavers. Present. And Collector Sarah. Present. And we have a quorum. Okay, and then Karen Morella is on the Okay. All right. Okay, so first on the order is any public comments? Sorry, I don't know. So. Okay, here's none. Keep going. All right, for approval of minutes from the June 9th, 2025 meeting. Do we have a motion?
So moved. I'll second.
Trustee Gray, Trustee Melody. Okay, any discussion?
No.
Okay, call the roll. Supervisor Stalin? Aye. Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Merson?
Aye.
Trustee Melody?
Aye.
Trustee Seavers? Aye. Motion passes. Okay, and now for reports from township officials. And we'll start out with Trustee Melody.
I do not have any report today.
Okay. Trustee Gray?
Thank you, Supervisor Silent. Yes, I'd like to just mention that a week or two ago on Saturday, I can't remember the exact date, Supervisor Stylen and Trustee Marson and I met with the senior citizens over in Founders Crossing. There were about 10 residents who came out. It was a really good meeting, which is about a little more than a third of the population over there, so it was a pretty good meeting. It was very productive. They told us some of their concerns about the properties, the condition of some of the properties, how some of the buildings were, improved and some weren't, other things that were lacking. So we're compiling a list. Supervisor Stylen is also thinking about making it part of the new maintenance foreman's duties to maybe compile a checklist for each of the units over there to kind of get up to date on who has what as far as appliances, flooring, things like that. Some were saying that the flooring shot, some were saying they just got new flooring. So nobody really has kind of a tally list for each of the units to find out, just to know like which one should be next and everything. So instead of doing kind of a catch as catch can, and the seniors really appreciated that. They were also very vocal about wanting to use the activity center over there more often if we could. They said that they had not been in it for a year, 2 years in some cases, which is a real shame. Obviously, it's right there in their backyard. And, it'd be nice to use that more. They were talking about doing things like book clubs and movie nights and maybe pizza night. And so I forwarded all of that on. We took really good notes after we talked with them. So Supervisor Stylen has that, and she'll pass it along to the to-be-formed seniors committee. So and that pretty much concludes my report.
Okay. Trustee Marson?
No report at this time.
Okay. And Trustee Seavers? No report? Okay. Now for, in Collector? No more. Okay. All right, and the assessor's not here, and Highway Commissioner Robinson?
Hi. We did the paving for 163rd is complete. Dave and I did an inspection of it on Friday. It's yet to be striped, but it will be. There's also a project going on to stripe, do some striping in Rockport Heights, sorry. And we're still waiting to see the final agreements with the village for 167th and for Bruce Road. We sent them an agreement. I guess their attorney didn't like the agreement that the township has used in the past, so as soon as they send us something back,
For my report, since the last meeting, we all attended the township officials training in Naperville. It was a good experience, a day of some reviews, some new. And one of the biggest challenges that I have right now is general assistance. Unfortunately, training for that really doesn't take place till September and October, and I'm getting a lot of requests. So I'm going to a workshop on Friday to get some information and doing my best to read. Also, I just would like to say thank you to all the trustees and clerk here and everyone that volunteered for Hoimer Fest. It was a really nice event. I think the village really did a good job, and the residents, I think, were happy. And I believe we're all open to doing that for the city of Lockport and Village of New Lenox as well when they have their events. So please feel free to ask. And also I wanted to give kudos to the Hoimer Glen Women's Club. I don't think any of you went on the walk, but it was really a nice showcase for our community. So I'd like to give my hat off to them. Did I give you a report?
No.
So I'll wait till we're done. Okay, and then I'll let the clerk report on bingo. And we've had a few repairs at the rental property that's located on open space. And as Trustee Gray mentioned, the seniors had a lot to say about their units. And we're having some problems with some leaky skylights. And what to do there is still not really resolved. And then big news is we hired 3 people to fill 3 positions, a seasonal laborer, custodian, and a maintenance foreman. The seasonal laborer is Luke, and he's already started, and our custodian, Randy, is starting tomorrow, and our foreman should be starting next week. So hopefully for all those areas that might not look like they're being maintained, we are on it. And then I'll have more to report under old business, but Brian, I'm sorry I missed you.
That's all right.
Sorry, so can I ask a couple questions on what you just reported on? What kind of general assistance requests have we been getting?
You know, it's a wide range. It's for people that like are behind on utility bills, like maybe somebody's lost their job or had a medical problem and things like that. And the thing that's affecting that is there's a program called LIHEAP, which is low income housing or energy program, heat and energy program, and they ran out of funds. So they are sending everybody to the township.
Got it.
And we are getting a lot of people.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
We had our first senior bingo on Tuesday, July 8th. It was a great turnout. That was the first one that we did on our own. So thank you to all the volunteers we had. I think it went great. Once again, we welcome any donations for senior bingo: food, prizes, cash. You can contact me at the township office at 708-301-0522. And we'll have our next one in August. But I think it went very well.
Thank you. All right, now on to approval of bills in your packets. There's a copy of all the bill transaction details or the amounts. I just need a motion to approve. If anyone has any, let's have a motion first.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, Trustee Severs?
I'll second.
Second, Trustee Melody? Okay, any discussion? Okay, hearing none, would you like to call the roll?
Sure. Supervisor Steinle?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Merson?
Aye.
Trustee Melody?
Aye.
Trustee Severs?
Aye. Motion carries. All right, now approval of an agreement with Herman Associates for a single audit. All right, and this, since the township received more than $750,000 in grant funding from the federal government,
we're required to submit a single or special audit about those grants. And this may be good news for us because the audit will specifically look at how contracts are handled. The cost it will vary from $3,650 to $4,650. It depends on how long it takes and if there's any special documentation that you need to find. So if there's a copy here in the packet and an engagement letter. So
I'll make a motion to approve the not to exceed $4,650 contract.
Trustee Gray?
I'll second that.
Trustee Marson? Okay, any discussion?
Did they say when, I did look at the engagement letter, which looks good, did they say when they would get started and or how long it might
They'll
take?
start on right away.
Right away.
Yeah.
Roughly.
There's no expiration.
I know, I was trying to get a date,
But-
but they didn't give me a date.
I mean, is this like a 2-week project, a 2-month project, or?
I got the sense that it would be within a month.
Oh, just curious.
And again, this is all just based on, do they ask the town, they'll ask you and or staff for specific documents or contracts, payables, things like that, so that they can track what was paid? To
Yeah.
make sure it's appropriate to the grant that was given, right?
Right.
That's what the whole idea is?
Any other questions?
Yeah, Supervisor Steinle, there's, maybe Jason could answer this. There's a little word in here, this is an unavoidable risk that some material misstatement or non-compliance may not be detected by us. What is that? Is that just saying that they missed something or not?
Yeah, it's just a disclaimer that the auditor is giving, saying that there may be things that they're just not able to discover that may influence the audit. And it's just a typical disclaimer.
Okay.
No any concern about
Kind
it.
of like garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah, kind of like being an auditor, like those are typical, right? Because an audit's designed to provide reasonable assurance, but not absolute assurance. So therefore, you do the procedures under the required standards, but even then, if there's some underlying fraud or collusion, it's likely not to be detected. So that's a disclaimer of, we can't provide absolute assurance that it's perfect, but our testing will be sufficient to provide reasonable assurance.
And then this is just on a grant money that we have to receive. Is it for 1 year? Is it for a period of time? Does it specify? Because they said the amount was $750,000.
No, that was because the grant funding that we received.
Okay.
Was that between the grant founders crossing and the civic center, all those added up.
Okay.
And it was federal funds that were used
Right,
in
and
those
that's for a
grants.
1 year period? Or?
Yeah, it's just a fiscal year ending March 31st, 2025.
Yeah, so
it's
it's single audit required, yeah, single audit.
On page 61. Okay, so any other discussion? Anyone call the roll?
Supervisor Steinle?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Marson?
Aye.
Trustee Melody?
Aye.
Trustee Severs?
Aye.
Passes.
Okay, next item is approval of an agreement with Seigen Hayes for accounting services. And this is beginning the third quarter of 2025 through the second quarter of 2027. Again, the agreement is included in the package. It's on page 68. They're on
I'll make
page
that
numbers.
motion. I'll make that motion.
Okay. Trustee Severs?
Second.
Great. Okay, any discussion?
And I won't have you, I need you all to sign that afterwards also.
And Seigen Hayes, I think you have it listed somewhere, that they are our current accounting service.
Correct.
And have been for some time, since 18, if I remember correctly.
I believe so.
So, yeah, it was pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and so I'm guessing there hasn't been any issues with our internal staff. Everything's gone smoothly with that. No, yeah.
Pretty happy with their service. Any other discussion?
Yeah, real quick, Don, will they be involved with the audit or is it separate? They'll have no
mean, depending, the services they're doing, so we, if I understand correctly, like our internal, which is either Mary Pat or Cynthia, do the actual accounting, but this service then reviews it, compiles it, maybe not even compiles it, just reviews it, the accounting, and makes adjustments and such, so I might think that they might be involved in audit if they're actually involved in adjustments.
Yeah, they're checking the balances and making sure things are matched.
Reconciliations, et cetera, yeah.
Yes. Supervisor Starling?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Merson?
Aye.
Trustee Melody?
Aye.
Trustee Severs?
Aye. Motion passes. Next item is approval of rental fee waiver for the community blood drive sponsored by the Hoimer Township Republican Organization. And they have scheduled the town hall to be rented for the blood drive on Thursday, July 17th from 11:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The rental fee is $125. The township waives the fee for 501c3 organizations, while this hosting organization is not a 501c3. The event is really a charitable endeavor, so it really does provide numerous benefits for the community to do the blood drive. They're asking for a fee waiver, and if I could have a motion to approve a waiver for this event.
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Seegers,
Second.
Great. Okay, and I believe Trustee Melody and Trustee Merson are both members. So you will abstain from the vote.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay. Supervisor Starling?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
And Trustee Severs?
Aye.
Okay, next item is for committee appointments. And this is kind of almost putting the cart before the horse in a way, because we haven't really defined our committees with purposes. And so, but committees are such an integral part of accomplishing our goals, so we want to get this going. And we've had committees in the past, but currently no committees exist. And so to get these started, I'd like the following individuals to kind of head up getting committees going. And what they will be doing would be responsible for drafting a committee purpose and talking to potential committee members. And then when we have that information, we will be able to appoint committee members, and hopefully that will take place at the next meeting. So I nominated Don Melody to chair up land use. And myself, I'd like to get the open space civic center going. Whether that's to be one or two committees is still to sort of be decided. They're really connected. And for senior bingo, Tammy O'Brien, and for veterans, Keith Gray. So if I can have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second. Severs?
Okay, any discussion?
Just a lot, maybe I should have made this in my trustee report stuff, but either way, and we don't have a lot of people here, but hopefully there'll be a lot of people viewing, is that, we really want to encourage as many people as possible to volunteer for these committees, because, like we ran on, we want to make decisions with community involvement, input from residents, not on our own for everything that we think. So we'd much rather have you involved in the committees than litigate matters on Facebook with complaints, etc. So please volunteer, show up, and be part of the committees so we could kind of all work together to come to the best solutions.
Awesome.
And we do have an application online and available at the township admin building to pick up. And if you have submitted, I do have names, but we're looking for more. But if you have any doubts, just check with the office. What else?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to having a Veterans Committee too. Not a veteran myself, but have been active with the American Legion in Hoimer Glen since its formation up at Marion Village. And it's always good to have more organizations, you know, supporting, serving, and, you know, honoring that, so I look forward to it.
Great.
Okay, so we have to call the roll.
Supervisor Stiles?
Aye.
Trustee Gray?
Aye.
Trustee Marson?
Aye.
Trustee Melody?
Aye.
And Trustee Severs?
Aye. And I'm just going to add on to that, I'm asking Trustee Severs to help us organize ourselves for the Labor Day parade. So, it's not actually a committee, but she's got an assignment as well. Okay. All right, moving along. Old business, 143rd Street. Did I
Tower.
The tower.
Well,
No,
wait,
no, that's
no.
other new business.
That's new.
Yes, we don't have supplement sheets on the old business.
Yeah.
Okay, so 143rd Street, just to report what's happening. Just a couple weeks ago, the county held a meeting and they approved the transportation plan as is, meaning that they're moving forward with the widening of the road. However, there's still a lot to be done, so I think there's still hope for change, but that's where it sits right now. The village is still working on it, and we're still in conversations with both the village and the county. All right, Civic Center update. Okay,
And discussion.
and discussion. Yes, so I said at the last meeting that we would be updating about the Civic Center. As you may remember, it's not ready to be occupied. So I invited Jay Bravard from Landmark Associates. He was the general contractor for the first phase, and he's here to answer any questions. He has presented. Everybody should, did you pass those out?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Everyone should have a copy of a change order, of things that he's saying that we will need in order to gain occupancy. It would be called change order number 4. And if we could just start with that, I guess. Anyone, is that okay, Jay?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to ask.
So what's listed on this change order, maybe I should just read that for starters. It's, okay, so the amount would be $550,000, and it's to complete remaining site work, complete the septic system, complete the 2-inch thick, bituminous, did I say that right?
Yes.
Surface course, complete the trash enclosure, fence and gate, complete the landscaping, excluding the eastern landscape buffer and the landscaping along the west building elevation, complete the remaining work to achieve occupancy of the building would provide 2 aluminum automatic entrances, provide miscellaneous carpentry, acoustic ceilings to complete the office and storage room, seal the existing concrete, install vinyl base, complete painting of the vestibule, office, storage, drywalls in the multi-purpose room, and remaining doors and frames, provide the fire protection system, complete the well pressure tank and tie-ins, complete the balance of the ductwork, unpainted, and complete the balance of the electrical work as modified by the attached lighting plan, and provide automatic fire alarm system. And so I guess my first question is, do we need all of these things in order to gain occupancy?
You do not need the 2-inch thick bituminous surface course. You do not need to do that. The original approval from the planning commission and the village board was for a gravel lot. And when we got into the construction, I alerted the board that that was a bad idea, and I should try to find the money for at least the binder course, which they did. They somehow got that money and included it in my contract. So we did the binder course. The good news is that this subgrade is very, very hard clay. So the existing clay was like concrete when we put the bituminous binder course down. So that course should last a long time as it is. And that surface course could be put on a couple years from now. And it doesn't have to go on for occupancy.
Can you help me understand what that is? I'm sorry. What is
Okay,
this?
so when you put down an asphalt, any kind of asphalt paving, the bottom lip is called the binder lip, and it's bigger chunks of asphalt, okay? And the surface course are very fine chunks of asphalt to give it a smooth driving surface. But the binder course is what binds up the asphalt and actually is the structural part of the asphalt. And that together with the surface course does have structural capabilities as well. But usually in any kind of construction project that I'm doing, if I'm paving in the fall, I'm only going to put the binder course down, and then I'm going to let that go through the winter time. And then when May rolls around and the plants open up 24 hours, we'll go ahead and put the surface course down. It's just good practice.
Sure.
In this case, like I said, the subgrade was so hard and so well compacted, there was really not a need to do that.
Got it. Thank you.
Jay, I have a question about that. Please give me a little rope here on that. Expert in this area, but so you lay the binder down, I get that, and it is peeling by the front door. There's corners that it's lifting up when we were out there, so I mean.
And what that is because we got another 2 inches going on.
Right.
Okay. We had to ramp up at the sidewalk.
Okay.
So after the binder course went down, they came through and they put a little ramp there, right? So you could wheel up onto the concrete.
Okay.
But that little ramp part that's starting to come apart right now, we have to take that out completely before we put the surface course on. So that's just laying on top of the binder. And that does have to be maintained, somewhat over time. But
So if we don't do this 2-inch surface course, is it going to stay like that? Is there any recourse?
no, we can fix it. Yeah, no, we can fix that little piece that's coming up.
Okay. And then my second question is, so the building cannot be occupied right now as it is?
Has no fire protection.
Right, it has a whole list of things. But yet we went ahead and striped it, put the parking blocks in and the signs.
Yeah.
Why was that done if the building's not ready to be occupied? Wouldn't that be something we would do like in phase 2 or when it's becoming occupied? I just guess I don't understand why we pay.
The striping and wheel stops and signage and the asphalt is part of one asphalt paver's contract. Okay, so there was always an intention to complete the building by the last board. There's never an intention to end up in this spot where we are right now. Their intention was always to complete the building.
So then okay, you said the intention is to complete. What stopped? What happened? Why are we in this position?
I don't know if I can answer that. They told me they were going to get a loan.
Okay,
so
from your understanding, was it a lack of money? Was it a...
They did not have enough money when they started the job. So we worked out how much money do you have, okay? And then we worked out what we could do in phase 1 to get the project going, and they were going to raise the money through more grants or whatever they were going to do. I was not privy to how they were getting the money. I was told we have X amount of dollars, so we created a phase 1, and these are the items that are in phase 2, also along with basketball hoops and those types of things that aren't on this list.
It's my understanding that the basketball hoops and everything else is more of a phase 3?
Yeah, phase 2.
So phase 2 right now is to get the building in compliance and get it open.
And get it over. Correct.
So that was never in phase 1, 2, and was it always a phase 2?
It was always phase 2, yes.
Okay. So, and just a couple more questions, is everyone fine? So, this change order number 4 that you're presenting to us, when the old board, was this the same, or is this different as far as phase 2?
The number that they were going for was 750,000 is what they told me they were going to borrow from the bank.
But the number you're presenting here, the 550, is that what you were?
It's actually called it 500,000. If we don't do the surface course, you know, and you know, we'll probably be able to get this closer to 500.
Okay. Okay. And then just a couple of questions since we're talking. As far as the job warranties being completed, so everyone in phase 1, it's my understanding, was paid in full?
Everybody was paid for the work that they had done. The only one that actually is completed is the plumber. So he completed 100% of the work on the job. So he's not involved in phase 2 whatsoever. Okay? The HVAC contractor still has ductwork to put up around the basketball court. The electrician still has to do all the lighting, exit signs, battery packs. The fire sprinkler is 100% phase 2. The fire alarm is 100% phase 2. There's still painting left to do. There's no flooring in the building. They were going to do sealed concrete, and they were hoping to get the flooring donated. That's what I was told. The well is almost complete. Just got a little bit more work on the well. On the landscaping, all that was done was the seeding. There was no plants or mulch or anything like that. So that has to be completed. The trash enclosure, the pad was poured, but the fence was never put in. So the aluminum entrances were not installed. That is 100% of the aluminum entrances is in phase 2. And it's just a matter of completing the office and storage room. The ceiling's missing out of both of those rooms. There's some painting left to do. Not a lot in there. You can see, if you look at the breakdown sheet, which is included in here, you can get an idea, for the larger items, being the landscaping, the septic system, the automatic entrances, fire protection, HVAC, and electrical. The rest of the stuff is little tiny things that just didn't get completed in phase 1.
Now, getting back to the septic, it's going to be in the back of the building, I understand, correct?
Yes, it's you can see it back there. It's all
right. So
yeah,
it's already, but the actual septic system is not in yet, correct? It's
not.
Okay. So I noticed that there's that paved sidewalk. Will they have to come out in order to run that septic to?
No, or underneath it. We already ran the pipes underneath all that, out to the septic, and there was a small payment made to the septic. Yeah, we had him run those early on in the job, and then he was going to come back and he was actually scheduled to put the septic system in March of this year. But then, in December, whatever it was, they ran out of money.
So, should that have been in phase 1, the septic?
It wasn't phase 1, it was taken out by change order.
Why, and again, I don't know, why would it be taken out? Because septic is in order to get I assume, for the bill to sign off on it, you're going to need some type of septic system, correct?
You need all this stuff.
Right.
But it was taken out in phase 1 because they decided they wanted to build the office and the vestibule and the storage room and some other things that they wanted to do that were in phase 2 items that they moved to phase 1. So when they ran out of money, then they didn't have enough, they did that stuff, and they didn't have enough money to put the septic system in. So they're juggling balls in the air.
And just one, thank you for your time. I appreciate this because a lot of us, don't have this information or, haven't met with you. I know you talked to Sue a couple of times, so thank you for taking the time. I understand the job is a prevailing wage job.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have this audit going on for the grants that were. Do you have all that information, prevailing wage, and in the event that Supervisor Steinle needs it, you'll be able to produce it in the event?
Yes, so every trade on the job was union.
Okay.
The only prevailing wage person was the well driller.
Okay.
He was not a union contractor. He paid prevailing wage, and we have payroll, certified payroll from all the subcontractors.
Okay.
So yeah, none of that's a problem.
Was there ever a punch list provided for the phase 1?
No, the project was, ongoing, never finished, so it was nothing we could punch out. Job's not complete.
And then how about one last question, I apologize for taking this time. How about the warranty on the work that has been done already?
So what our contract offers is a 12-month warranty, okay? So the plumber and the HVAC units are the only 2 trades that have been affected by the warranty, because the plumber is complete. But there's a caveat to that plumber being complete, because we don't have water in the building. And until we turn the water on, in my opinion, he's not complete. So he's still hanging out there for the warranty, as is everybody else, until the job is completed. However, the day those units were turned on, the clock started ticking on those. So those units were turned on sometime in December, late December. So those are on warranty until December of this year. And then that warranty would be up. You still have the manufacturer's warranty though after that, but the actual material and labor warranty on the units would be up at the end of this year.
Thank you. Jay, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions about the electrical.
Sure, please.
It says on here that the electrical as modified.
Yes.
So how does this that we're looking at today deviate from what was previously passed?
Okay, so I included the drawing.
Right.
Okay, so what happened is when we got the architect's drawing, he had lighting all over the outside of the building.
Like wall sconces on the inside?
Wall sconces all around the outside that lighting up the whole place. So when we went through, after approvals and we're going to permit, we find out that we're only required to have lighting over the exit doors. Okay, so we wanted to eliminate all that lighting, so we eliminated that right off the bat. And then when I got in there and started looking at the way the architect had laid out the lighting in the multi-purpose room, and where the basketball hoops were and everything, we were able to move that lighting around and eliminate a whole row of lights. So those 2 things created a savings early on in the electrical. And then the rest of it is just, that's on there, it's just what's there now, and what has to go in later. So it was just those 2 items.
And so there was a reduction in the price too. We're now showing 122.
Yeah, no, the electrical number was, I think it came down by, I want to say $15,000 or $18,000 at the very beginning, yeah.
Okay, and then this schedule, is this primarily just lighting? It shows no outlets on here. I mean, we saw.
The outlets are all in.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no wiring. It's like the stub ups are coming up out of the concrete, which is.
It's only wired in the bathroom area.
Right.
Yeah.
But
All that's gonna be done.
This
Yeah.
122,000
Yeah.
reflects all of
Yeah,
that.
everything in that number will take care of all the electrical,
There's no exterior lights shown on here.
just at the door.
Just so there are
They're
individual
showing
lights
the-
over each
the
door.
doors, yeah.
That is very tiny.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that answers my electrical questions. And then on the landscaping, you say not on the east or west side of the building.
Okay, so that again was another issue when the master plan, okay, was to add a senior addition to the east. And I don't know if you've seen that drawing, or if anybody's seen those architectural drawings, but there's a plan to put an addition up to the east. And in the,
To the east or to the north?
I'm sorry, to the west, I'm
West.
sorry, to the west. And they're showing a bunch of landscaping up against the building. So the last group, and at that time, we just had an allowance for landscaping in our bid, in our contract. So they said, we don't want to pay to have the landscape, put it in and rip it out, because they intended on building that addition for the seniors. And then also, they, during approvals, they wanted a buffer between the residents and the building. And so they put a whole row of arborvitae's in
The residents on the east.
to shield the residents on the east. But there's a natural buffer there that's gigantic.
Right.
And so it's kind of like redundant.
But at this point, it's not really our prerogative just to take that out, because that was part of the plan commission's.
It was part of it, but in dealing with the other group, it was decided that we would go back to Homer
Okay.
and plead the case
Ask
that
for variance.
that this is not necessary.
Okay. But that could come back. I mean, if Hoimer Glen's plan
They
commission.
could say no.
Right, they could exercise their right to, want it the way they approved it. And so if that were the case, do we know what that number would be? if we
The
threw back
number
in?
would be up around 70,000.
$70,000 additional dollars for that?
No, total.
Oh, okay.
It would
Thank
go
you.
from the 52 to 70.
And then just another quick note, I know we talked about, we could do without the two-inch bituminous surface course, which seems short-sighted to me. I don't think we should do that. If we go to finish this building, we should finish it. But we had talked previously about, if we're going to be doing the septic system, that right now the septic system as planned and as we've all discussed is only to accommodate the toilets in the bathrooms. It's not, the sinks in the bathrooms, I'm sorry. It's not to accommodate a kitchen. And when Jay and Supervisor Stylen and I had a meeting earlier, we had discussed, updating that septic system to accommodate a future kitchen. So if we did a kitchen, we wouldn't have to then go back and rework the septic system. So on page 2 of the landmark cost estimate breakdown, under alternate 1, it's about second one down, it says septic system upgrade is $10,500. Technically, if you took the first page of the rework of 550, you'd need another 10.5 to accommodate the septic system that would accommodate a future kitchen. I'm not suggesting that we do a kitchen now, but we certainly could see the need for that. Obviously, we're in a building here that's pretty old and it has a kitchen set up, so it is a pretty common thing to do. We should probably just all be cognizant that, we should pull out certain things out of these, as well as maybe if we don't get the landscaping variance from Hoimer Glen's plan commission, we might have to throw in a few extra dollars for our landscaping budget too. So while that number Jay was originally saying could go maybe from 550 to 500, it actually could go north of 550. In fact, I would think that common sense would prevail, and we would say let's do this work now. The upgrading of the septic system and the landscaping and maybe even a few other things. I'm all about the path to occupancy. I'm not really about the path to grand glory and using this thing. We don't know how we're going to use this building. We really want to get in there with the residents and have them tell us how we're all going to use this building. and what the future of this building is. But obviously, right now, we can't even throw open the doors and have them come in to look there and see what they think. So I just wanted everybody to kind of be aware of that the septic system might be a little bit, on the first page, might be a little too low.
So on the other thing is the flooring, so on the,
You guys mind if I turn it on?
you know, just
I'll start here.
Yeah.
There we go. So you can forget the bathroom. You'll forget the bathroom.
So on the, for the, what I call the path to occupancy, we need $6,400 to seal all the concrete. And so I gave a couple of alternates. If we went to a epoxy floor with a urethane coating, that would be the cheapest way to put a floor in, although depending on what we would ultimately be using the Civic Center for, I don't know if that's the best solution. If you're going to, because initially they were talking about playing wheelchair basketball in there, and I just don't know, you know, how that would work out with the wheelchairs and the brakes, and so I went one step further, and I you know, the next cheapest way to put a floor in there is just a regular VCT floor, you know, that you have to strip and wax, and that comes with all the sports striping for the court and the volleyball and all that kind of stuff will go down with that floor, and then you have to wax over it, okay, and then you have to maintain that wax from time to time. But that's $40,000 as opposed to a sports floor, which you're talking much, you know, hundreds, you know, maybe. Yeah, you know, it'll be over $100,000 for sports floor or soft course. So, if we spend the $6,400 to seal the concrete, we're going to be looking to put a floor down at some point in time. So the sealed concrete that I want to put down is going to be something that we don't have to take back up to put down another floor. A lot of these sealers, you know, you're going to have to strip the sealer to go with the next floor that you're putting down. This particular sealer that I'm talking about just penetrates the concrete, and you can go right over it with whatever you want to go over it with.
And we really do need minimum to seal it.
To be able
It's
to
going to
clean
keep
the
the dust down,
right,
staining,
the
things
concrete
like
dust,
that.
yeah, you got to be able to clean it, you know, mop the floor, clean up the dust.
I have one last question.
Yes.
So what is the plan for, like, I'm going to estimate like 10 feet and above for the walls?
They're going to stay as is.
They are.
Yes.
So if we had any type of sporting event in there, there's a chance if the ball hits that, is it going to puncture it? Is it going to...
No, it's tough. That's what it's made for. It's made to take a ball. All that's made to take a ball.
What is that material? Is that insulation? Is that?
It's behind it is insulation.
Okay.
It's a polyethylene covering.
Okay.
You know, unless somebody comes up to it with a knife or something, but it can take footballs and basketballs and.
Can it be painted?
No.
So, Jay, one last question for me. With regards to the landscape, we have the two big generators on each side of the building there.
The HVAC units, yes.
Yeah. Were those intended to be fenced in, or
No, they weren't. They're
how about putting stone around there? Because when they go to weed whack, is that brass gonna go into the filter or anything? I mean, should we consider putting stone around here as opposed to using brass?
I don't think that any of that is a problem for the unit.
Okay.
No, I don't think any of that's a problem for the unit. Now, you could, generally, there's landscape buffer around it, but we have the landscape buffer. So, you know, it's just right out in the open now. And there's a fire stone fire lane right there for the fire trucks. And then, the trucks can get into service the units, and you got the overhead door there and everything. It's kind of a utilitarian part of the building. You can't see it from the street, you can't see it from anywhere.
Okay. Do we have locks on there right now, do you know?
Locks, like
Yeah.
on the
So
units?
Yeah, so someone can't flip the switch?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it's
Would
locked.
you recommend that?
We generally don't do that.
Okay.
I mean, if somebody wanted to go up there and pull the disconnect, the unit would go off. I would say, yeah, they probably want to put a padlock on it because they could turn it off in the wintertime, you'd lose the heat and we'd freeze. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So we also know that we are not currently anticipating any grant money similar to the previous board. You know, the situation has not changed. There is no pot of gold in our budget. There is no grant money that is coming that we're aware of. We know that some grants we are locked out of until next year. So given that, if we were to suddenly find $550,000, how long would it take to do this? If we told you in 2 weeks that, you know, hey, we've gotten everything together, what would it take for you to assemble a team, assemble all the materials needed, and complete this?
Without the kitchen,
Yes.
about 7 or 8 weeks.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you. That's for the first sheet,
Yeah.
550.
If I could-
Please just write a check.
I was thinking Don, but
I do have a couple questions to it. Anyone else?
Go ahead.
So in regards to the septic, we received notification from Accenture. They were the ones that were like kind of overseeing the grant for the county.
Okay.
And apparently the original grant award was $500,000 and only $393,555 was expended. And they were saying that represented the full completion of the defined project scope and that grant was finished. So
Okay.
we would have lost out on $107,000 that could have been spent. And the grant was for Homer Township Facility Water Service Project. The scope of work included site grading, installation of water and sewer utility connections, and stormwater infrastructure improvements at the township facility site. So I called the grant people because they were saying they were closing the grant. And I said, but it doesn't have any septic system yet. And their response was, in our review, it does indicate from Landmark's sworn statement that septic system was part of the entire project scope, and ARPA did reimburse for the septic system. But the only reimbursement was the $5,000 something. So do you communicate with these people? This is just solely on the person that was internal at the township managing the grant?
Absolutely. I was not involved. I don't know how they handled the grant versus the non-grant. I gave them on the sworn statement, they told me what items the grant would cover. So if you look at our sworn statement, there's an X next to the items on the sworn statement that I interpreted from them what they were telling me, and I said, these are the items that I believe you're talking about. So I identified them that way, and I think all those items added up to like $540,000. And they're all been paid, so I'm kind of surprised to hear that they only spent $390 or whatever it was. I thought they had used the whole amount.
Yeah, me too. Because then this, project, that's all that was that, and I mean, altogether it was like $400,000 was all they got because they got the $7,000 for the concrete work. So I guess we need to talk to them in the county to see if we can pursue this and get, because that 100,000 could pay for the rest of the septic system. So my question is, for the $5,553 spent on the septic, what exactly did we get for that?
The $5,000 that was spent on it,
Yes.
the pipes that are running from the building out to the field right now.
Okay. All right, and I mean, because it does list it on here that the remaining of that would have been 48,617 if you were to finish it.
Yeah, and that's what we need, that's what we need to finish it.
Because that would make a huge difference for us, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Not wanting to go as deep in the project.
So if I need your help.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then the parking lot lights, it's my understanding that they're not working and that they had to turn the breaker off for some reason. Are you aware of that?
I know that there's no, let me think about this. The lights were, the poles and the lights were installed by the road.
The road district.
Road
Yes.
district. And they're wired and they run back to the panel, but yeah, the breaker's probably off.
Well, I think that they said that they had to turn it off. Do you know anything about that, Jim?
Yeah, I talked to our guys, and they said that they, after Jay wired them up, the breaker was on, and they come on at night like they're supposed to, but during the day, they kind of like strobe on and off. And so I guess, well, they had reported it to the township at the time, and they were just told to turn them off, so they turned them off.
So they're
But
coming
then-
on and off?
During the day.
Okay.
At night they work like they're supposed to, because their guys went up there and put in the photo cells that they were supposed to put in. And,
I was gonna say, it's not the photo cell?
well, no, because they work, they come on at night
They come
when
on.
they're supposed to, and they stay on all night, but during the day,
They're flickering.
they're kind of on, off, on. It's like, you said it's like a light show
There
during.
must be a time clock that's messed up inside somehow.
Well,
It could be photo cell on, time clock off. I can check into it for sure. I mean,
okay.
it's an easy
Yeah,
thing.
because we need to make sure that we've got
Yeah.
light over there at night, just keep
Yeah,
it
should have.
unoccupied building secure,
Yeah.
so, that's a
Yeah,
big
we
word.
can- is the lockbox still on there?
Yes.
Okay.
So does so is there like a guarantee or anything that goes with those lights? I'm just wondering when there was a problem.
Yeah, they have a 12-month warranty.
Okay, and
So-
they've been in since like December? I don't know, when-
Yeah, those went in pretty late. Those probably went in January.
All right, and then the fire lane is stone. Was that the plan to remain stone?
That was the plan.
Okay.
That was the plan. That stone looked good at one time. I mean, I think it needs to be dressed up. We can dress it up with some more stone.
Is that on the east side or the west side?
It's on the east side.
Okay.
Okay, and then, let's see here. Okay, and then I still need to get the waivers.
You didn't get the waivers? They weren't, you should have been on your email today.
I got these documents, the change order, but
You
I
should have
saw
got
the
the
waivers.
emails should have followed later in the day.
Okay, I will.
Check your
double
email if you don't have them, we'll send them in the morning.
Okay, and then, okay, so, does anyone else have questions for? Okay, and then I just wanted to report then to the board that we do still owe the village $9,720 for engineering fees. So when we're looking into the money,
Another 10 grand?
there are probably some other expenses that are in addition to.
10 grand, you did that.
So we have that. Okay,
So we can, if you did have that grant money and we're able to utilize it, we could do that septic system at any time.
okay.
Carl's is ready to go.
Because I know that the grant was through December 2026, I believe. So that's why it seemed odd that they were closing it out. And so Well, I need to figure out what happened there, I guess. And I'll report on that by the next month. We don't have an absolute solution. So,
Is there anything else within that scope that could be covered, or is it just the septic?
Maybe the well, under the well too, right?
well, yeah, that was what I was wondering. The tying up of the,
The well.
that you had on here.
The
well pressure
There's
taking
a little
times.
bit left on the well, about 4,000 or 5,000 on the well. And then if you know, that upgrade on the septic system.
Right. So you'd be, around $60,000.
Right.
65,000 just with the well, the septic, the upgrade on the septic.
That'd be nice.
But I can also tell you this, is that the entrances to the building are set up to be white aluminum painted doors, full glass, with automatic operators on, okay? So they're motion sensitive, also there's a push paddle, but it's on the outside and the inside. And the inside was initially hollow metal doors, just hollow metal doors with a window in them. And along the line with everything else what was one of the things that we modified, they wanted that to be glass like the front entrance. So you walk into the vestibule, it's glass, and it's more glass. So you could see right in. So we have 2 sets of storefront glass doors with automatic operators, just so you know, because can the operators be added later? If we set it up correctly, I suppose they could be. If you don't know what you're doing with the building right now, perhaps you can save some money on the doors by not putting the operators on, by not putting the interior double door as glass, and maybe make that a hollow metal entrance. Something that you really couldn't change out later without just taking the whole door assembly apart and throwing the doors away.
It would seem to me that a government building should be at the vanguard of being ADA compliant instead of just the bare minimum.
Especially for seniors. And,
Yeah.
I just want to point it out that
But thank you.
that's what we have. That entrance is quite, it's nice.
Sure, thank you.
Any other discussion on that?
No, I would like to echo what Trustee Marson said. Thank you, Jay. You've been very cooperative and very helpful and you've answered all of our questions, so thank you for your time.
Well, we'd love to finish it.
Yeah.
So would we.
Show me money.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. All right, good night.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, next item is Founder's Crossing. So Founder's Crossing was a update. I just wanted to mention that was also funded through a grant. And the grant was for $508,000. And again, the total amount wasn't expended. $468,303.28 was actually expended. And the grant was set up, the project for doing the refurbishing units at Founder's Crossing was set up as a phase 1, a phase 2, all the way up through phase 5. So what they did do is that grant was for phase 1, and they completed everything in the grant. But apparently the costs were must have been better. So then they took a component of phase 2, which was the HVAC, and moved that up into phase 1, and they were able to replace 6 units. And that's why when we met with seniors, they were saying that some of the units, they were wondering why all the units weren't replaced. It's because they had some money in there. Now, why they didn't finish
Spend the
the
entire amount, right?
Yes.
Spend the extra
And get the
$40,000.
rest of the units.
Right.
And apparently they just ran out of time. They didn't meet the timeline.
of the grant. And so that money is not available. And it won't be available until you can make an application in March of 2026, which would then make the money available in October of 2026. So that project is really going to be on hold.
Right. Additionally, for the units that have not had the work done.
Right.
Skylights, roofing, HVAC, things of that nature.
So the phase 2 portion was garage door units, skylights, and that's why the skylights we may end up having to do some because we have problems with leaking skylights.
Leaking legacy skylights, right? Not the new ones that they just did.
Well,
Or both.
they're both.
Excellent.
So when I talked to, we have a resident in there whose skylight, and this is really sad, it has been leaking for a year.
How does it leak?
It's been leaking for a year, and so it's an old one, maybe 10 years, I'm not sure what the date is. So like if you remember last Wednesday's rain, that torrential downpour, I mean, she's up at night with buckets of water in her kitchen and themed buckets, and it's kind of a sad thing to make a senior go through. So I did have a roofer go out and look at the unit, and he said that the skylights were the wrong kind of skylights for that type of roof. Yeah, he said that now whether this is true or not, I don't know. So this is where do I get more opinions? Because he's saying that the skylight that was installed was designed for a flat roof where that's a pitch roof, and the sizing difference of the skylight in the opening or whatever. So to put the correct skylight in would require a little extra work. So I'm thinking like we've got to do something for this lady. It's not fair.
No. How big of a financial lift is this? Is this a major expense or is this?
The estimates have been around $3,000.
Okay.
Give or take.
That's to replace it with a proper unit.
To
But
replace
this
the
is not
proper
a
unit.
unit that is slated for future roof work and future skylight work.
This one unit would be,
It would
yes.
be, it has not had its roof done.
Correct.
So really, while I'd love to put a new one in,
Sure.
won't we be tearing that out if we were to get grant money in 2026?
Yeah, that's what I.
So can't we
Looking
just
for
get somebody to
guidance
get up
on
there and mop the tower on it? And I mean, it
Fix
might
it.
not look the best, but at least it'll get her through.
Yeah, the roofer told
John's
me.
laughing.
Well, and I will hear John's feedback because the roofer told me that it would require tarping to keep it from leaking.
So,
You'd have to
yeah,
put tarp
tarp,
down.
yeah. Well, we don't want that.
So.
Yeah.
All right.
Long
Yeah.
time to have a tarp up.
Yeah, unless you bite the bullet and just go ahead.
Well, $3,000 certainly falls within your spending limits. So that's your decision.
Okay,
Supervisor
just
Chapman.
wanted to get your input on it, let you know where that stands.
Well, I would support that. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that's for that long and they're paying
Oh, that
rent.
poor lady.
Right,
I mean,
if the
we
only
were
other
allowed to
alternative
run
is
things
to
by us,
tarp
so-
the roof, then
Yeah.
it can't be sealed.
And then you
Unless
can't.
Jack.
It's unfortunate, but it should have been, this again goes back to what we've said, where, a lot of resources were diverted over the last couple of years for this civic center.
Yes.
Money was taken out of a lot of different accounts, and maintenance was deferred. I mean, just walking into this building tonight, I looked at the window on the very front of it, and I encourage you all to take a look at it on the way out. It is ridiculous how bad a condition it's in. In a building that has new windows, almost everywhere else, we have the front windows is rotting away. So, we're finding these conditions everywhere. You go to Morris Park, you got graffiti all over everything. That little concession thing has been damaged, vandalized, graffiti, you name it. We've seen firsthand at Founders Crossing how many places have had deferred maintenance. We heard it firsthand from the people telling us, that they have not had these things done. So, we're going to have to get back on a regular course of making sure that we're assessing all of the properties that the township does own and making sure that we're having a priority list and getting those things taken care of. In addition to the grant things, those are the big, and if we get the grant, great, we can go out and do a big splash. But on a year-to-year basis, we still have these smaller things, just like any homeowner does, that we have to take care of.
So in regards to the Founders Crossing, I believe that there is enough money in the fund, and they did not take money out of that fund to do the Civic Center. So it's just a matter of, for the residents information that that project is just being delayed and we'll make the repairs as needed. So that's the report and discussion on Founder's Crossing. This was my agenda sheet.
Here's the, yeah, probably.
I have my own notes. Okay, and then the other item was, okay, after Founder's Crossing was we were going to move into new business, the American Tower lease agreement. And that, what that is, there's a, if you drive by the admin building, you'll see the lease tower. That agreement goes back to like 1990 something. 96, yeah. And so they are looking to extend that agreement for 25 years. We're not making a decision tonight. One of the things the attorney has advised us on is that we don't have a policy. Did you say a procedure in place?
Yeah, so, yeah, I can
Go ahead.
explain. So oftentimes a township at the annual meeting will delegate the authority, the electors will delegate the authority to lease or purchase or dispose of real property to the township board, and you can do that for up to a 12-month period. And you can see the prior board had done that in the past, but without that delegation of authority to the board, in order to enter into a lease of this type for the property, it would have to be approved by the electors. And that's it's not a complicated process. We would just call a special meeting of the electors, it's a 10-day notice, and we publish notice in the newspaper and set forth the general terms of the lease that we would be looking to enter into, and then we would just hold a special town meeting, and the electors who showed up would have an opportunity to vote on that, and they could delegate the authority to the board to enter into that lease. So that's something that we could accomplish conceivably before the next meeting if the lessee is looking to finalize this at our August meeting.
You say that we would put in there the specific language about this lease.
Yeah,
If it's for a one-year period, wouldn't we want authority to do that as leases come up, or do you have to do a special?
you have to do it. It's only good for that authority is only good for a 12-month period. So we would get that authority for a 12-month period to finalize this lease. When we finalize this lease, it's a 25-year period. So when that came up again in 25 years, we would need to have that authority.
But if another lease came up in the next 12 months, would we have to do this again, or would she still enjoy that authority?
We could do that authority if the electors wanted to give us just general broad
Right.
authority to do that for all property, or we could identify specific property.
And I had asked, I'm sorry, Jason, that's
Oh, no,
this
yeah.
is for soon. I had asked you in an email, the lease, the draft or the proposed lease agreement says that they want to lower the amount that they're going to reimburse us per month. But obviously, we're in the board, none of us know what we were getting to balance that against what they're proposing. So do you know what that number is?
Well, that I can tell you, because that is actually in the monthly report. When you look at the...
Oh, in the billing?
In the
bills,
billing.
like in the revenue section?
Yeah, it's like 4,200, I want to say. I made a note. So if you go to the billing, it would be under the town fund, and it's... I did make a note, it's lost. Cell tower lease.
Sure.
Oh, there, it's in the general, it's in the annual one. But if I just specific line item.
It'd be on the town fund, right?
Yeah, it's in the, yes, it's in the town fund.
In the revenue section.
And-
4292.
Yeah, there you go, that's what it
So
is.
so they're proposing to lower it by $300, and they're going to give us a 10% escalation every year. So they'll be back where they're at in a year.
Yeah, yeah.
That seems odd.
I mean, I guess we are on TV.
I was going to say, if we're going to have really detailed discussions about price, it might be a good idea to go into closed session to discuss that, just not so that who we're negotiating with doesn't have access to
Okay.
kind of our
Fair enough.
thought process. That's just an option.
And then we would do that maybe after we have the approval of the electors to lease, then we would have a meeting for the closed session.
Sure, yeah, finalize the rate.
Okay. So, but are there any other comments regarding just the whole idea of leasing the cell tower?
No, I mean, I guess.
I mean, we've been doing it.
So we're
It's
leasing
there.
the land, it's their tower, we're just
Yeah,
leasing the land.
right.
to
It's,
them.
and it provides a service for the community. I mean, we like good cell phone reception,
Yeah.
and we benefit from some income. So I don't know if there's any negatives that or anything.
No, in general, I think it sounds good, but having no knowledge about it, I think it's something like in closed session negotiating like are these
Yeah.
common terms,
Yeah.
common rates with other areas, all those things to flesh out to make sure we're getting the right deal, but otherwise it sounds.
Well, we would have to do that tonight if we want to do a special meeting of the electors before the August meeting.
Yeah.
So,
So we get contact them?
They're just waiting to hear from us. All we have said is that we were going to have a meeting tonight to
Okay.
discuss it.
When is the term is expired?
It is, so they just been, it's just been, right. So,
No, I mean, if the board wants to talk in closed session tonight, we can do that tonight.
okay, because all I did on the agenda was,
Yeah, that's
I
okay.
just put a question.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, as long as we make a proper motion, we can
Okay.
always someone with closed session.
All right.
In a general meeting.
Okay, so we'll wait when we get to the item on the agenda then.
Just real quick, since it's within the township or the village as well, do we need any special permission from the village?
For the cell tower?
I mean, it's been
It's existing.
permitted to be, it was installed, it's there. So, okay, and then the next item I want to just move on. Anything else? Okay. The next item I would like to move on to is park maintenance. And I just, Trustee Gray touched on it, that we have a lot of areas that need maintenance. And so that has to be, I think, considered when we talk about the civic center and how we're going to fund that. Because I've asked, kind of started a list of things that need to be maintained. And we'll try and get some estimates so we get a handle on those expenses. And that would be also one of the tasks that the new maintenance foreman would be looking at, not only the senior units, but what's needed at our parks. And have a good friend that was a former certified playground inspector that might have some input on that as
Yeah,
well in the very near future.
it's a real shame that, up on the wall it says 1836 Homer Township was established. It's 189 years ago. And it's a real shame that after 189 years, you have to populate a list of all the things that the township owns and needs to be maintained. That should have been something that's passed from administration to administration. And, that's always in the best interest of the residents. So, I know you're a person of integrity, Sue, and that will not be the situation next time around. That, nobody will have to repopulate that. That'll just be an ongoing thing, so.
And I will say that the staff does have some things that they're aware of, but I think it needs to be more thoroughly looked at. And you mentioned just this building here, I don't know if it was built in 1830, I don't know when this building was. I don't know when this building was built, but we don't have an ADA bathroom here,
Yes, no.
and there's the rotten windows and, other items here, the exterior maintenance, and we could use AV here for our meetings, so the public and the audience could see what we're looking at.
Real quick, I did, when we were out looking at 163rd on Friday, we also looked at that building at Morris Park. And I didn't obviously see the inside of it, but my guys have. And that building's in pretty sorry shape.
Yes.
The roof shot.
I mean, it would almost be less work to,
Yeah.
than put any more money into it. Right now, there's a fenced-in area, and it's just junk piled there.
Right.
The weeds are 2 feet high in there. I don't know what your ultimate plan is going to be for Morris Park. I mean, considering they, I don't know if they sold part of it to Lockport or they gave part of it to Lockport.
The back portion.
Yeah, so I don't know what the master plan is you guys have for what's left, but that part of it,
It's pretty rough.
it's pretty bad. You're gonna put a lot more into that building. I don't know, it's not a concession stand, it's just a storage building.
I think there might be a pump or a well house or something
There's a well, I don't know where the well is. I know there's they call it the yard hydrant outside, but it's rusted solid.
Yeah.
You can't even move it,
There's no doubt that
you know.
decisions will have to be made about that by the entire board, no doubt. And that would be 2 months out easily, probably.
Right.
And in the meantime, we need to paint that building
Right.
because there's
And
graffiti.
No, I understand that.
Well, there's graffiti that's offensive graffiti. It's
We've
pretty
asked
offensive.
the maintenance
Yeah.
people to do
So
that.
while I agree with you, I've seen the same thing, the gutters, the doors, the roof is shot. God only knows what the inside is like, it might be better in the long run.
It's worse than.
Right, but for right now, just for residents' sake with kids and, we've already allowed who was it, the junior porters to use it for their practices and things. We need to at least make sure that it's not offensive.
Right. So in addition to that, Morris Park, over at Trantina, not the Civic Center, but that property, the open space property, we have a rental house there that has a lot of issues. The bathtub is leaking, there's issues with the water pressure, wells and windows. And the tenant is giving me permission to come over. Well, we can do this, but I wanted her to be prepared. I can go over there with somebody to take a look and maybe make a list. I can do that with the future maintenance foreman, or is there a trustee that would like to see what the status of that house is? Asking.
There's always been well issues out there because they split that well between so many things out there. So that house has never had good water pressure because where the well house is, that there was water that was going to the old farmhouse. There was water going to the old garage that was there. There's water that goes to the drinking fountain. There could be underground leaks that you don't know about. I mean, that's another. Should all rent the movie Money Pit?
Yeah.
So I don't know, that's another thing to consider, but that has always had water issues out there, always, since back when Bernie and I were out there looking at stuff, and it was always problems out there.
So that's on the list. The playground, we know that there's rusted benches, we know that it needs mulch under the equipment, the picnic tables need painting and repair. The benches by the fire pit are all rotten, and the fire pit itself is in need of repair. And the silos, we are looking into construction fencing to fence off the silos and the corn crib because they're safety hazards. And looking for a structural engineer to take a look at the silo. So all those things are going to cost money. Okay, and then and then also the healing garden, which is over near Founders Crossing. We've had benches there that have been vandalized, and what to do with those benches, I'm not sure yet either. So just so people know that yes, we want to finish the Civic Center, but we have to maintain what we have.
Yes.
And to me, that's kind of a priority. So. That said, anybody else want to make comments about?
Yeah, just
parks and
going with what
maintenance?
you said about what we've seen out there at Morris and at Trantina, and I'm hoping also that your maintenance foreman will institute a new policy of, hey guys, if you're out cutting the grass and you see that the building has been tagged by graffiti artists, you need to report that into the office, so that those things aren't sitting there for months. I mean, that happened before we took office on May 19th. God only knows when. We found out about it pretty quickly. And we can see right now, we've had some staff shortages and stuff. Sometimes it takes some time to catch up with these things. So the sooner that, you in the office know about it, the sooner it can be remediated. So I hope that you'll make that part of the supervisor, or the
Maintenance
permit.
firm, yeah. And also to add on to that, I didn't even say the barn needs painting, and two glass windows were vandalized, and those need to be replaced, and exterior lights, and the admin building. When we had the rain on Wednesday, oh my God, I got a nice photo of our clerk. I should have shared it with you guys, mopping the water out of the vestibule.
Coming under the door.
It just pours in, and it's kind of smelling a little moldy in there sometimes.
Yeah.
So, so the two doors, the entranceway doors need to be replaced. And the gutters need some work.
So the gutters are residential instead of like for a regular building, and they were overflowing. Just the water just couldn't even come up with it. But I mean, I literally had almost a full bucket of water by the time I mopped all of it up. So
yeah. So again, so lots of maintenance. Also, the micro pantries. I don't know what's the story with one of them, but the one outside our building. I just want to make an appeal to the public since I mentioned general assistance. The library posted that their micro pantry is empty and in need of some donations, and I would say that our micro pantry that's out front by our admin building needs donations. And so that's all I have on the agenda, unless we want to go into closed session to discuss the tower lease. So if I had a motion to do
I'll
that.
make that motion.
Yeah, so, let's just make sure that we recite the proper exception
Okay.
of the Open Meetings Act. So it would be a motion to go into closed session for the purpose of discussing setting the price for the lease of township property. So I think we can adopt it. All right.
I will second the motion.
Okay, who was the it was Martin.
Marcy Melody,
And then Melody.
Dean's.
Okay. All in favor? Or do I
I'll
get
give
a
you a
roll
roll
call?
call. We
We
don't
got
need
a roll call, okay.
Supervisor Stabler,
Aye.
Trustee Gray,
Aye.
Trustee Marson,
Aye.
Trustee Melody,
Aye.
Trustee Severs.
Aye. And we'll just take a couple minutes.